I guess it's sending it live.
It says live on Facebook.
Oh, does it? Okay, cool. Then we're live. What's
cool,
up,
man?
What's up, BM?
Chilling, man. How you been?
I've been good, dude. I'm just I've been moving a lot this year, but I'm finally settled in. I'm not in the motel anymore, as you can see.
That's great. You're in Virginia still?
Yeah, I'm in Virginia. My hometown, Fredericksburg.
Okay. Yeah, I drove past there to go to like Carolina.
Okay, where were you going, to the beach? Nags Head?
No, my dad lives and my sisters. They live in North Carolina.
Okay.
I've had family in Carolina since like 2000. They started moving there.
Did they move there from New York?
Yeah, my sisters did. Yeah.
Okay. So how long has your family lived? You're in Queens, right?
I'm in Queens, yeah.
Is that like where you grew up?
Yeah, I grew up in Queens, man. I was born in Brooklyn. I grew up in Queens.
Nice.
Yeah.
How long's your family been living in New York?
They date back to the 1920s, I guess.
Okay. Where'd they immigrate from?
Russian, Poland, and then on my father's side, Puerto Rican. My father's Puerto Rican.
Okay. My mom's family, they immigrated from Germany to Canada, and then from Canada to America.
Wow, when was this?
I want to say in the 50s.
Okay.
50s, 60s, because they were kids during World War II. Like my grandma grew up near the German-Polish border, and then my grandpa lived his whole life in Berlin. So he was right.
His whole life?
Yeah, up until he moved to Canada.
Okay.
And then I think he joined the military in America to kind of become like a naturalized citizen.
Awesome, bro. Well, it's safe to say we don't have a direct link to slavery.
Yeah.
That's always a plus. Always a plus.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm white, but I don't come from privilege.
I don't come from the fucking Mayflower,
From the Mayflower.
Those fucking momos. That's the epitome of white,
Yeah, for sure. So, how's things been going for you with the coronavirus and shit?
It's going all right. Obviously, I'm in the epicenter, what they deem to be the epicenter.
Yeah.
Seems like it flew over to fucking. Seems like Texas is becoming epicenter too, or something right now.
Is it?
Yeah, the cases are going up. I mean, I checked out a while ago and didn't pay attention because all of like the fucking different narratives. But from what I'm hearing, Texas and like Oklahoma, Florida, they're starting to get hit again. But I don't know. Who the fuck knows? Is it because they're taking more tests? I don't know.
Yeah. The way the testing is set up, the way the testing and the statistics are set up is very weird.
Right.
Because it's like each positive test counts as towards like the statistics. So I could go get 2 positive tests in a week, and now that's 2 towards the statistic.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's like each positive test is what they're counting. It's not like per person. It's weird.
Okay. Huh.
The shit's got to be weird for you because not only are you in the epicenter, but you're kind of dealing with it with your job too, aren't you?
Yeah. So, because I work in the cemetery, obviously I've seen the some of the worst of it. Well, not the worst of it, I guess, because the worst is in the hospital. But after that, I got to see, the families, meet with them and see, how it affects them, I suppose. So it was busy for, I would say, 2.5 months, really, really busy. Doesn't make it better, but mostly older people. I didn't see a case of somebody young or somebody with, how do you say, underlying conditions,
Right. It's got to be weird working like in the direct aftermath of that. How much like safety gear and stuff are they making you wear?
Well, it's the mask and the gloves, and then not letting anyone in the office. But as far as as far as grave diggers go, there's they got to be a little more careful because they're actually touching caskets and stuff like that. So sometimes they'll wear like a tie. You know what a Tyvek suit is?
Yeah.
Like a full, the suit you step into. Shit like that. Gloves, masks. They got to keep changing it. Changing out their gloves all the time. Me, it's kind of like dealing with the families, but they obviously, a lot of them were in contact with those people. Yeah. People that died.
How'd you get into that line of work? How long have you been doing that?
7 years.
Okay. I was wondering, I'm guessing it's not a family thing. I feel like most people that get into that type line of work, it's kind of like a family tradition.
No, it's not. No, it's not at all. In funeral homes, it is.
Okay.
They have that a lot. Like funeral home workers, they'll have like a funeral home that's like been around forever.
Okay.
Kind of like family shit.
So you're you're like literally at the graveyard, not a funeral home.
No, two different businesses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with like people that are like looking at plots and stuff like that.
Yeah, either buying for the future or buying. Yeah, for the future, or they already own shit.
Got
basically.
You. That's a strange industry to work in.
Yeah, it is.
What got you into that?
Basically, what was it? I used to be in another union, which was it was called the Property Service Workers, basically. 32BJ. That's like it's got a mix of people like doormen in Manhattan, like doormen, and then like cleaners for like public schools and shit, like custodial stuff.
Okay.
So I was into that. Then I resigned from that union, and I took a summer job, which was outside weed whacking. So the general manager was retiring, and the superintendent was taking over for the general manager. So he basically offered me the job as the superintendent. Yeah. Nice. It's kind of an accident. Yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of fell in your lap.
Yeah.
Sort of a weird chain of events.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Seems like some of the best things in life kind of happen like that. They just kind of fall into place.
For sure, man. For sure.
That's how I feel. A lot of things have been going on with me, with like my comedy and just my different pursuits and avenues that I try to chase. It's like when I mean, you have to focus and put in the work and like put in effort, but the universe is weird. It's like the harder that you try, sometimes the less it wants to give you what you want. Like with a woman,
right?
It's like the more you want her, the less she wants you. So when you like sit back and focus on yourself and just try to like build yourself, it seems like that's really the times when shit starts just kind of falling into place and the gears start clicking.
No, you're right, man. Yeah, sometimes things just happen. You don't know why they happen. I think that's why a lot of people buy into like, that secret shit. Like, the book, that was, I mean, a lot of it is like, but I think the very idea of just changing yourself, doing better for yourself, doing better, I think you will attract opportunity. You will maybe surround yourself with better people. You might have better opinions on yourself, not being negative is one of those things that's pretty big, I think. Yep. In a sense where it's like, even like taking time to shit on people online or whatever, which we're all guilty of, but that feeds into like, I think it just feeds into more angst and anger towards yourself, really. I mean,
yeah, it does. It's like you're projecting.
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of sad. Some people make it a thing. I don't know.
It's like you subconsciously know there's a defect with you, but you're trying to distract yourself from dealing with it. So instead of looking within, you just pointed out other people's problems. Yeah.
It's it happens on like so many levels. It happens on like so there's like the level that's like corporate sponsored or like PR firm sponsored, and then there's like the microcosm level where it's like in one Facebook group there's like a weirdo or somebody that just like skips through like a circle of Facebook groups and decides to do that. So it's like, it's just happening all over the place. It's not even like, it's not singular, and it's just like millions of people are doing it.
Yeah, it was already bad enough with like radio and newspapers and TV, and now you add social media, and now we've become instruments of our own demise.
Right. It's good and it's good and it's bad, right?
Yeah, there's definitely positives and negatives.
Yeah, you gotta have to use it to use all this crazy technology to your advantage if you can. I mean, at the end, they're all like kind of evil a little bit, but like Google's and YouTube's are a little nefarious at times. But I guess you can use it, for good.
Nefarious in the sense that like they mine your data and shit like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. All the spying, all the stuff that they're able to do, how they can influence politics or whatever. I know people hate Alex Jones, but he used to say, "We got to use the tool of the oppressor against them." Like that's something he always would say. Use the tool of the oppressor again when he was talking about Google and shit.
Right.
Going on fucking rants and as crazy as he is, he's kind of right about that. You got to kind of, in all aspects of life, I think, use the tool of whatever your oppressor is, use it against them.
Right. And Facebook and social media is definitely a tool, but you got to be careful that you're using it and it's not using you.
Right.
Because they have like top marketing agencies and scientists and neurologists and sociologists, psychologists working on the algorithm to figure out how to keep you addicted, how to keep you in, how to keep you on the app.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's like fucking reading. It's like catching the end of every thought. And it's just like, it just picks up like your last thought, God forbid you typed it, or sometimes you just say it, your microphone is enabled. It's so crazy. People are still walking around. Oh, the other day I said something and then my phone had something pop up. It's like, yeah, I mean, they've been doing this. It's not a surprise anymore. Like, why are you still saying this?
Yeah, it's listening to you.
Turn your fucking microphone off if you don't like it. It's not a shock anymore.
Right. All right. Sorry, we're getting off track a little bit. I don't want to. We can go down conspiracy theory hole later, but I want to backtrack to what we were talking about, the universe and things kind of falling into place. That ties into Uncle Joey. That's how we met. If people don't know, is the Church What's Happening Now Facebook group, mutual love for Joey Diaz.
Right.
But he always says, once the universe knows you're in, it's in.
Right.
And I really think that applies to everything we were talking about. Also, everything that we were talking about, that you were talking about discipline and how much self-discipline helps. That's the new kick that I'm trying to get on right now. I know you probably saw I'm like trying to do time blocking and keep a schedule.
I saw that. You were trying to, I saw that.
So what I wanted to ask you, because I know that you practice jujitsu.
Right.
You're older than me. You work a consistent job. You have a consistent routine. Do you have any tips for me on discipline and everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, I ain't a pro. I mean, I had a lot of issues for years, and to be honest with you, like being, maybe I don't want to sound like really cucked, but being with a girl that's a good girl, and like her being more responsible definitely helped me. But I think a lot of it, what I learned when I was in the discipline mode, like when I was like going to the gym and doing jujitsu and going to work, doing all types of shit every day. I think it usually comes down to getting enough sleep. Like I know you were doing like the time thing.
Yeah.
Getting enough sleep and not eating like you're fucking 12 years old. And I think you will fucking, I mean, it sounds so stupid, but I think you will notice that your body feels better and your brain fucking functions a lot better.
I agree with that too.
When you're not eating like, you're in 5th grade. It's
like,
and I'm guilty of it. I'm on a spree at the moment where I gained some weight and whatever, but overall, I think that's like step one.
Yeah, if you sit around and eat like Doritos and cupcakes and pizza, you're going to feel like shit.
You're going to feel like shit. And I think the sad part is like feeling like shit is like normal mode for many people.
Right. You don't even catch it.
Yeah, it's just regular. I work with somebody who's just like always, they're very overweight, like very. And it's just like, it's like every day. Sucks getting old. This hurts, that hurts. It's like, you're like 42. You're not fucking old. Like, what you're doing sucks, so.
Right.
Not to hate on shit, but
then
I think that's number one. That's number one, man.
Yeah. Like my knees are, aching me bad recently. So I've been trying to cut carbs out of my diet, hoping that the inflammation helps my knees out. But that's probably what that guy's dealing with too. He's all achy and shit. It's like, dude, you've been eating pasta for the past 30 years.
Right. Right. Exactly, man. You could also take like oils and stuff for that, like krill oil for your joints or whatever, but not to go down that hole. But yeah, man, fucking change what you put in your mouth, unless you're
you definitely got to watch what you put in your mouth. That's something I've been trying to do. Like I said, I'm on this new like health kick as far as like self-discipline in all facets. And it definitely starts with baby steps. And if you can watch what you eat and change what you eat for the better habits, then it'll be easier to build around that.
Yeah, buddy, for sure, man.
And then like you said, go ahead.
No, go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry.
I mean, like you said, I've eaten like shit my whole life. And usually I'm ready to go to sleep at 2:00 in the afternoon because of it. But I noticed that on days that I eat healthier, like eggs for breakfast, tuna for lunch, like no mayonnaise, no bread, those are the days that I feel the best. Drinking water instead of juice or Gatorade.
Right. Yeah, something that helps me not crash is usually I try not to eat till at least noon.
Really?
Yeah. I don't really do like time restricted eating, like very strict, but I definitely, when I'm working 100%, I'm not eating till my lunch break, which is 12:30. And so I'm up at like 6:45 every morning, 6:30. Yeah, and I do not eat till then. A single thing. It's water and coffee.
Okay. So yeah, because when I first wake up, like unless I'm working, I don't have to eat that early in the morning.
Right.
And I'll be up for a while. So I guess that makes sense. It's like you can just hold on to that initial momentum that you have from waking up. And then when you start coming down, all right, now eat fuel. And then you don't have a midday crash because you just ate at noon.
Yeah, and it's also like not realizing how many carbs you have left over from the fucking evening before. Like you ate and then you sat down and watched TV and you did, and it's like, did you burn anything that you ate? Can your body still survive till fucking noon? 100%, man. And once you start doing it, you won't even want to eat that early. I've trained myself where if I eat early by noontime, I'm like fucked up. Like I don't want to eat. I don't feel right. And if I do eat, I'll feel like mad bloated from it. It's really weird. Yeah.
No, it makes sense. And also like, there's a lot of things that we do in modern society that humans aren't necessarily programmed to do. Like we used to have to walk around and forage for food, sometimes for days at a time.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So now I just, you just walk across the street and forage the fucking deli counter, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, yeah.
Man, what's it like living in New York?
It's great, man. I mean, I live in Queens, so I don't, you always hear people talk about New York. They always talk about like Manhattan and, oh, it's so crazy. I could never live there. But it's like, there's plenty of fucking places where you can get some peace. I live in Queens, which is northeast Queens. So basically I am 10 minutes from the Bronx. You just got to go over the bridge and you'll be in the Bronx. Or I'm like fucking 20 minutes from Long Island. So I'm kind of like at the northeast end of Queens. It's great. It's like Flushing, areas like that.
I just want to live in a city. Like we have downtown Fredericksburg and it's cool down there.
Right.
There's only like a couple streets of development. And I mean, they're full of all kinds of shops and stuff like that. But there's something I just love about like that walkability, just being able to like live in a city and walk, jump on the train. Yeah. And then there's just, infinite options of mom and pop delis and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a plus. I mean, literally across the street from where I am now, there's a deli, fucking a Greek restaurant, a Chase Bank, a Chinese restaurant, a pizzeria, a nail salon. You know, I just looked at that, just looking at the window. So,
the sights you'll see in Queens.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's considered one of the most diverse places on earth, I guess. That's what they say about Queens. The most diverse place on earth.
Okay.
Literally. Yeah. So I definitely a lot of culture I grew up around.
Yeah, I imagine so. I guess that's really what I'm aching for, is like just that melting pot, that mixture of culture.
Yeah, man, it still exists. I mean, I think in Manhattan itself, and like when you think of New York City, you know, Manhattan, the island of Manhattan, there's culture there, but it's not as cool as like going into Brooklyn or going into Queens or the Bronx, you know. It's not really the same. That's kind of just like a bubble Manhattan. It's kind of, I don't really go there, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes, but I don't really have a need to unless I'm going to a show.
So, is growing up in New York, is that something that helped you to connect with Joey? Is that one of the things that resonated with you about his stories?
Yeah, for sure, man. He definitely reminds me of a lot of dudes that you would see around, and some of the things he says is shit that I've heard or shit that I still hear. You know, like I'll hear people say Momo. You know, it was funny. I had some funeral director call me. He was like from Manhattan, and these people were giving him busting his ass. And they had to come see me, and he just called me to give me a warning. He's like, I don't know what's up with these fucking momos, this and that. What's going on? This, and I was just loving it. I was like, just to hear that, you know, from like somebody outside the whole thing, just like a New York City asshole, you know. So that's kind of like how I connect, you know, for sure.
Did you grow up like a troubled youth?
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, I was just talking yesterday, like the shit we used to do, you would never fucking be able to do now. The shit we used to do as far as like stealing from delis, fucking buying Lucy's when we were 14, drinking 40s in the store, playing Cruising USA at fucking 14 and 13 years old in the back of the deli. Like, I want to write about this stuff. Like, some of it is like really interesting that I don't think happens anymore. I don't think you can go into a bodega where there's porn videos and porn magazines everywhere and see a 14-year-old playing Cruising USA, smoking Newports and drinking a fucking 40. Like, I don't think that happens anymore, but that was pretty much what we were doing. This is like everyday stuff. And robbing delis, setting off fireworks in Chinese restaurants. I mean, fucking anything, dude. Just really reckless shit that we would never get away with. You know, not fucking, you know. Yeah.
What's one of your best stories you got for me from those times?
One of my best stories. Let's see. Jesus. Yeah, I mean, so the fireworks in the Chinese restaurant was great. You know, we had a friend who he was kind of our whipping boy, you know. I mean, I knew him forever, but we knew he was crazy enough to do anything. So we just took a bunch of fireworks, threw them in the Chinese restaurant. I just watched that place lit up from off the block, fucking smoke piling out, fucking
like Chinese New Year.
Nah, yeah, it was like Chinese New Year, bro. It was Shen Yun Festival. But I mean, there's so many fucking dumb things. I mean, you know, cops were a lot meaner back then too. You know, even in my neighborhood where it's like not too crazy, you know. But we would just fucking steal. We would come up with schemes to steal cigarettes. The cigarettes were still on the counters back then. You know, they were still on the fucking front counter. Like, you can go in and grab them yourself and pay.
Right. I remember when I was like in middle school at the CVS up on the corner from us.
Yeah.
They didn't have cigarettes in the aisle, but they had an aisle that had like all the cigars. So we would just go in there and steal like Swisher Sweets, like the little packs of like cigarettes. Fucking go sit back in the woods and chain smoke those like 13.
Right. Yeah, they would never fucking do that now.
Hell no.
Yeah. We would come up with all types of schemes. I would be like, I would know the guy at the deli. I would run inside and I would pretend like I was scared because this fucking guy who was my friend is about to fucking murder me. So I'd run and I would like, please help me. I would come behind the counter. My friend would fucking chase me in. The Indian would scream at the kid not to beat me up. He would fucking come behind the counter, push me. I would fall on the floor. Behind the counter, I'd be on the floor, and I would be just shoving fucking packs of cigarettes in my pockets. As this, we would just put on elaborate fucking shows just to get over on the delis, Wild stuff, man.
That's really funny. That's smart.
Yeah, we would scheme. I would scheme. I mean, but back then they could hit you too, bro. I've been slapped by fucking bodega dudes. Like, they had my parents' phone number at one point.
Right.
My dad had to give him the number in case I was acting up,
That's funny.
Yeah, they didn't hesitate. Like, if you were trying to steal, they would fucking whack you in the fucking face. And you would have to go home. Your parents weren't gonna, this is not even that long ago, bro. This is like, it is kind of like 99, 2000, 2001, shit like that.
How old are you?
Yeah, and then I just turned 34.
Okay.
So, yeah, so late, 99, 2000, 2001 were probably my worst years. But yeah, you didn't like try to sue or like run after somebody or like expect my parents to go there and be like, I'm going to murder you. I'm suing you for hitting my son. It wasn't even a question because it was like, they knew I was a crook, so they couldn't like.
Well, also, like, it takes a village to raise a child, man. So it's cool when you can have the bodega store, clerk have an eye on the kids.
Right. He wouldn't call the cops. He would just call my mom. My son fucking around over here again. Fucking. He used to say, fucking. And that was it. There was no cops, but I never had cops called ever for the amount of shit we fucking stole from the delis. Nobody ever called the cops.
Yeah, that's kind of how it should be.
They'd rather just like beat us with a stick, and run after us,
Chase you off with a broom.
Yeah. But yeah, there was all kind of crazy characters, all types of fucked up shit, man.
No, obviously I didn't grow up in a city. Where I live is kind of like on the edge of suburbs and country.
Right.
Or where I grew up, at least. Where I'm at now is kind of like on the edge of suburbs and downtown. Cool. But I relate to Joey very much for the same reasons, for the fuckery that I used to get into when I was younger, man, and a kid. We used to do so much dumb shit and steal from so many grocery stores, so many bottles of cough syrup, so much alcohol.
Oh my God.
And then, like, the woods, there's like woods behind the high school, and and they would kind of connect to behind the grocery store, and you could follow the woods all the way to the neighborhoods up by where I grew up. So we would just skip school, go into the woods, and then go through, go back and forth through the woods all day, go steal shit from the grocery store, get fucked up in the woods, float around for a while, finger bang each other in the woods, whatever. Shit like that. And then
how was it like with the cops? Did you have like a lot of issues with the cops? Were they like?
We had like a school resource officer, but it also got to a point where like I was such an asshole in school. Like they put me in alternative school when what was supposed to be my junior year. And then when I came back, I was such a fuck off and an asshole that it was like, they never tried to get me for like truancy or anything like that. They were like, good, stay away. Like, we don't want you here.
Yeah. Word.
Like, you're a black hole. Be gone.
Yeah, they did that to me in high school.
Yeah, that's high school for me too, man. And then another reason I relate to Joey is like, obviously the cocaine, the getting clean off coke, living that lifestyle and then breaking away from it.
Right.
And, I've had to hustle and shit too, like Joey's had to hustle and have people meet me at comedy shows and shit like that.
Right.
So I relate to him on that level too. I think that's why a lot of people relate to Joey, man, because he's just like real. He's from the streets. He's lived that kind of life,
right.
And there's more people than you would think that have lived that type of life in this country or in this world. So when they see somebody like that telling their story,
right,
it's a redemption story. It's very much a redemption story. Like if he kept going down the path that he was going down, it was self-destructive.
And because like it's so diverse, like his crazy stories come from so many different areas, you know, comedy or drugs or girls or whores or homelessness. So you can, you know, you don't have to like cover all those bases as a person. You might identify with two of them, you know, you might just identify with one of them, you know. So because it's so many things, I think that's another reason why he would attract so many people. You know, it's not his experience is not singular. You know, it just wasn't like one path. You know.
Right. Yeah, you're right. There is such a diverseness to it, and then there's so many different. You know, like you said, you'll hear stories about New York. You'll hear stories about Boulder and shit like that. So
right. East Coast, West Coast. You know, he's got that covered.
Right. No, Joey's amazing, man. What's it like being an admin of that group? I know that shit gets stressful sometimes.
Sometimes, I mean, I feel like I was asked that once before. I feel like it's a bitch thing to complain about, to be honest. It's like, what's it like? I mean, I'm hearing my own, you know, it's like, it's stressful, I guess. I mean, it's all right. I mean, it's the worst thing about it is now it's like Facebook is like they're like watching everything you do, even if the group is secret, like, you know, so you can get the chance of being shut down, which the church group was shut down twice. This is the third version, you know, so that's the worst thing. And then sometimes like people get in with politics where it doesn't belong, you know.
Right. Or just unnecessary drama in general.
Yeah, unnecessary drama in general, which we all get involved in sometimes because we can't like help ourselves. But, you know, when you get like repeat customers, it's like, dude, go shop somewhere else, motherfucker. Like,
go shop somewhere else.
You know, go find something else to do. Like,
go to a different bodega.
I mean, yeah. But it's not like, I mean, I willingly do it. So I'm not going to be like, this is so stressful. Like, no, it's not. It's really not. And there's like 6 of us or 7 of us. I don't know. So Scott Cunningham, Allison, John Joyce, Henry,
Jason, is Jason still an admin?
No, Jason, I don't know where Jason is, you know.
Okay.
You know.
Have you ever tried stand-up?
No, I haven't. I've thought about it. I mean, I would like to like write or work on skits or like do stuff like that. I've always thought about doing that stuff. I used to record like comedy things growing up on my like little recorder with my friend who would like pretend like we were like on a radio show. So like, and I was always like silly and stuff. So I feel like I probably should have maybe thought about that or done something like that. Always wanted to like get involved in funny business, I guess.
You're right, like a skit, like if two, not shock jock rate, but if like those hacky morning radio guys like, hey, welcome to John in the morning.
So we used to do that, and then
what if 2 of those guys hosted a podcast with all the little like beeps and whistles and shit?
Yeah, we used to do that. Yeah, we would even play the callers, like calling in. Like we would just like, it was silly, but yeah, I've always liked that stuff, you know.
That's cool. Comedy. Actually, anybody watch this, I encourage you to go watch Freddie Correa's podcast. He actually had BM on there. But on his, you can call into Anchor and leave like a message in the same way. I've actually done that a couple times for Freddie and left like character messages.
Yeah, I've left a message on Freddie's. I don't know what it was. Something about, I don't remember now. Shit. Too much of this, you know.
Too much of what? The pen?
Yeah, this is the pen.
Okay. God damn, it's a big fucking vape pen, dude.
Yeah, it's got rosin in it, like oil in it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty
So
cool.
that's the one that you like load up, like you buy wax and put it in there in the coil.
Right. Like the old G pens when that shit first got popular, you used to have to load it in.
So those vaporizers are good for smoking DMT too.
Yeah, how do I get some though? Are they though? Really?
Yeah, because you want to vape DMT. You don't want to hit it with a flame.
Okay. How do I get it? I don't know how to get it.
I'm not.
I'm sure I could.
I would never encourage anybody to do this, but I hear a lot of people say that you should just distill your own. You should make your own.
Right. I've heard that too. Yes.
Because
there's plenty of different barks and whatever that you can use.
Yeah. I'm sure if you look in the right places in New York that you can find it. Go up to
Flatbush. Sure I can, Yeah, I know friends who are in ayahuasca circles in New York and they do ayahuasca and stuff. And I thought about doing that with my friend Jason. I don't know. I'm kind of scared. I feel like there is a lot of things still bothering me in life, and I know I'm going to have to confront them if I do that stuff. So I don't know.
It's an interesting experience, man, and it definitely will like open you up to those things about you in your life that you're trying to avoid or you need to change.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll open you up to those facts in the strangest, most artistic, fucking strange way.
Right. No, it's wild, man. I mean, I hear like Mike Tyson talking about it too now, like mainstream fucking talking about the toad and all this other stuff.
When I heard Mike Tyson talking about smoking DMT, that blew my fucking mind.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Almost hard to imagine Mike Tyson smoking DMT.
Right.
Could you imagine him having a bad trip on acid or something and trying to contain him?
I don't even think it's possible, though. I don't even think he would have a bad trip. Like, I don't.
You think he's mentally strong enough?
I think he's like. I don't think he articulates himself very well at times, but I think he's extremely like intelligent.
Yeah.
Like on a Joey sense, just from life.
Right.
You know, just from being intelligent and like amassing knowledge and knowing how to read people. And that's another thing about growing up in a city, I guess, is that you meet so many diverse people that you kind of start to learn how to like, I don't know, just know characters, like, you know, like different characters.
You can pick up on people's energy better.
Yeah. And like, you know, just pick up on different like cultural cues, you know, stuff like that, because you're exposed to so many different types of people. That's not to say that doesn't happen like where you live or whatever, but I think like the mass of like certain types of people definitely changes it. Like down south, you might have one Chinese friend somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But
right. It happens here, but it's fewer and farther between to where you're at. It's on such a massive scale that it's unavoidable. It's literally unavoidable.
Yeah. It's another reason, like, not to go off on any other. It's another reason why, like, when I hear like a lot of the people complaining with the social justice warrior stuff, you know, they want to say SJW stuff with the. That's another reason I can't always identify with that stuff, because it's just like where I grew. It's just normal to me to be around different types of people. Like, I don't even think of the idea of like there's anything different, you know? So when I hear a lot of stuff, sometimes it's really hard for me to connect to it, if you know what I mean. I don't know if I'm articulating myself.
I think I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
You bring up outrage culture, cancel culture.
Right.
You have that picture behind you.
Yeah.
What do you think about everything that's going on right now?
Some of it is very warranted, and some of it is the case of what we spoke about earlier with people that are sick and they're not fulfilled in life. And I think mental illness plays into it a lot. I think that's pretty fucking rampant. So I think a lot of it is that, you know, and a lot of it certainly is warranted. Like Chris D'Elia probably is. I'll be honest, I never fuck with D'Elia. Everything that everyone is saying now is kind of like how I always felt about him. I always kind of felt like his humor was good, but it was a little too cutesy maybe at times, or it was aimed at like a younger audience, or kind of like in the Dane Cook Not exactly that he's like the same as Dane Cook, but in that kind of like when Dane Cook was like really fucking famous when I was like in high school or whatever, like I was like I avoided it like the plague because I just there was the energy that I didn't identify. Like it wasn't my thing. And I think it's aimed at a certain type of person that I'm not. You know, not to say that that's bad or anything. It's just like his humor is not mine, and then I could see like Louis J. Gomez had a tweet, and he was like the funniest thing or the biggest trick to Leopold is convincing everybody that he's good looking. Like I saw that and I was like, yeah, because like I don't judge guys, but I'm looking at the lead sometimes too, and I'm like, this is like the ladies' man. Like I don't know, I don't agree with it. Like I don't think I think a lot of it goes into that. I think his persona and the energy that he puts out and the way that a mass of people viewed him, I think that he certainly opened himself up to being drunk on fucking being that weird type of person. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I've always kind of thought he was like creepy looking and had a creepy vibe.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I never was really a big fan of his comedy. His first special that was on Netflix, I tried to watch it and I couldn't watch it after like 10 minutes just because of the way that he like laughs at his own jokes and his laugh itself.
Yeah, I only want to see Chappelle do that, to be honest.
Right.
You know,
and even Chappelle,
mic bang, you know.
Yeah, even Chappelle when he did like the Bird, what was it called? When he did that one, it was like the two specials, and he did the one in the small room at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
And he smacked his knee with the microphone so many times. It was like, you're overdoing it, bro.
Yeah.
Now, like, who the fuck am I to sit here and critique
Chappelle? I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Man, that's dark. That's nefarious. And then you have, like, this is getting a little bit deeper. We're getting past, like, cultural shit. But then you have, like, all these data right now is the most profitable industry in the world. Like our data from our cell phones and stuff.
Right.
And you have these companies buying this data and then using it to build algorithms, market, do campaign ads. And we're fucking ourselves, once again, becoming instruments of our own demise by giving them all this information to use against us.
Yeah. How do you stop it?
Yeah, I don't know. Because
I always
there's so much money involved. How do you stop it?
Yeah, well, I always had like this idea in my head that like, you know how like these movements start, like defund police, for example, or something, like these hashtags. I always had this idea that like we would start a hashtag that would be like unfollow famous. And that would be the hashtag, unfollow famous. So everybody could get together collectively to unfollow famous people's social medias. And you would see influence just fucking shrink overnight if people decided to do that.
Yeah.
Why would corporations like pay these celebrities all this money to push bullshit if nobody's paying attention to them? I mean, to me, they're irrelevant anyway. I don't pay attention to them, but I think people can unfollow people and fucking change the culture just by clicking a fucking button. And I think it's so easy when you think about it.
Oh, that's powerful. It's almost like walkouts. It's almost like doing like a walkout or a strike.
Hashtag unfollow famous, bro. I said it first.
I like that.
But seriously, man, it's like you can fucking really change society just by clicking a button. I really believe that.
Yeah, 100%. I believe that too. Fucking this podcast dropped from live for like a amount of time. I don't know how long. So some of our conversation wasn't live. I don't know what happened. But we're live again.
Wow.
I wanted to ask you, BM, because like I said, I brought you on here because of your post the other day and how outspoken you were about all of this. And you like I said, you had a lot to say. You said it beautifully. You already have, both of us do have a good following and support system with the church and what's happening now. You said, I asked you the other day if you were going to start writing blogs, right, about about this stuff, right? You have all these people writing blogs for cancel culture. We need someone to write blogs against cancel culture. And I was saying that you would be a good candidate for that. I think you would also be a good candidate for your own podcast, man, considering
oh, thanks, buddy. Appreciate
what you and your buddy used to do with recording like the radio shows and shit like
that. Yeah, I definitely could. I think a lot of it is just a lack of try, basically. It's really
a lack of try.
Yeah, it's just not committing to doing it.
Right. Well, it's like you seem like a pretty busy guy anyway.
I mean, I have time to do things. I just, it's just about making time,
Yeah.
There's always time.
Well, what are your like creative passions? So I'm sure that, working at the cemetery and that's not your only fulfillment out of life.
Right. As far as like creating, I mean, I do a lot of things. I mean, I do like to do art. I mean, I grew up doing graffiti. It was definitely a culture that I grew up in. A lot of my friends still do it, and still pretty big in the fucking movement. I've collected art over the years. I've collected some valuables. I have some pretty cool things that I've collected, and as far as art goes, investments for the grandkids. Just fucking trying to get out, be outside as much as possible. I hate being home, man. I fucking go to work, come home, shower, and I'm out the door. I'm gone.
Well, you're able to be like that now with everything going on with the COVID?
Yeah, because I just go to the park, or go to like a nature preserve or some shit, and just, most of my weekends I go out to like Long Island. Me and the girl, we pick up and we fucking just go out.
That's cool.
Go to a nature hike, nature walk, or whatever. But yeah,
that's really refreshing too. Do you feel like that adds a lot of clarity for you at the end of a long week?
Yeah, man. Be outside in the peace and quiet, man. Everyone's crazy in New York City.
I think everyone's just crazy, man.
Yeah, everyone's crazy everywhere. Yeah, especially online. I mean, yeah. Not to change the subject, but like, what is your opinion on the cancel stuff? Like, what do you think? Do you think it's like a mental illness and like an unfulfillment and a hate?
I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I mean, I responded to your thing the other day because you were specifically talking about writers. And from my point of view, it seems like a lot of these people are just throwing these articles together out of emotion. There's not a lot of research and information going into them. It's very much someone pushing a narrative. And I feel like a lot of these people, and I'm generalizing, of course, but I feel like a lot of these people have no discernible skills. The only thing they're good for is trying to cause a rift. And this is their way to get attention. They're not talented enough to be a stand-up comedian or to write novels or whatever the thing is that they want to do, be an artist. So their fulfillment has to come from putting somebody else down and sifting through the bullshit to find something to pick out and attack you for. Because it seems like a lot of this stuff you really have to snipe, to find it. People are really digging to try and run someone's name through the mud. We've seen it work and we've seen it not work. They tried to do it with Kevin Hart, and that was a weird situation. It kind of worked in the sense that he didn't do the show, but at the same time, you didn't take anything from him. If when he gets his next special ready and he's ready to sell out another stadium, he will sell out a stadium.
For sure.
And everybody will watch his special on Netflix.
For sure.
I would like to see the statistics on how many people downloaded and watched Louis C.K.'s special that he put out at the beginning of quarantine.
Yeah, I saw him after he got canceled out on Long Island. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I saw him at Governor's because I'm on the mailing list, and they were like sending emails on the sneak tips to people on the list to like come see him. So I saw him. His set that was recorded?
Right.
It was recorded at the same club a week after I saw him, Governor's Comedy Club in Long Island.
Okay.
Somebody recorded it in that same club. I've seen Joey there. It's a cool little club. It's a little weird, but it's pretty cool. It's like an old school kind of sleazy comedy club in Long Island.
Have you ever been to the Cellar? I think I've asked you that
Yeah,
before.
yeah. It's been a long time, but I have been there. I've been to the Cellar. I ate upstairs at the fuck is that place called? The Tree Restaurant or some shit. I always forget the name of it. Yeah, I've been there. I've been to the Stand. I've been to Dangerfield, shit like that.
Nice, nice. Yeah, man, I'm itching to get up to New York and fuck around with the culture, man. I was thinking about it recently. I was like, man, I want to get up to New York. I wonder if anybody's got a place up there, like they let me crash for a night. Because I know I got people all over the city that's like, if I could crash a night here, crash a night there, give me an open mic. But then I was like, oh yeah, COVID and New York is the fucking epicenter.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's no clubs open. They're just starting to kind of open up outside seating, but you can't you can't see it. There is some comedy shows happening that are like on patios, like the same club I just told you about. They're doing like patio shows outside, and then, but you still gotta like social distance, and it's weird. I don't want anything to do with it, to be honest with you. So yeah, I don't know when that's gonna even open. It might not be till like August or September or some shit.
It might not be till 2021.
Might be 2021. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's shows that I was supposed to go to that were canceled that I was pretty fucking pissed about. Joey was one of them.
Damn. It got canceled, not postponed.
No, just canceled. I mean, I got refunded. It was at Levity Live up in Nyack, New York. And it was right in the beginning. It was like early March, and it was like the last second they just canceled it.
Damn.
Late February, early March. I think it was early March.
I was supposed to ride out to Nashville with a friend of mine in April to go see Rogan and Chappelle.
Awesome, man.
And that got postponed to September.
Wow.
Yeah, September or October.
Tight, man.
Yeah, hopefully it goes through. Like, hopefully it still happens, man.
I think so. I think they have something planned. Oh, how far are you from New York? You're only like 4 hours, right?
Yeah, where I'm at, like 6 hours. Let me see.
Oh, 6 hours.
I'll Google Maps how long it'll take me to get to Queens. I mean, when I rode the bus up to Boston, it took a while. But you're in a Greyhound bus that moves only, X amount of miles per hour, and then you're stopping every, 20, 30, 50 miles, depending on the route. Especially going north, because there's so many stops just between here and DC, and then from DC to New York, it's ridiculous. All right, Queens is 260 miles away.
Oh, so that's like 4 hours.
Yeah.
4.5, 5 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours and 47 minutes. So you figure stop to take a piss. It's about 5 hours.
Head north on Hillside Lane toward Meadowview Drive.
Sorry.
I stopped by. Maybe I should. Every year I try to drive down to Carolina to see my dad. So I'm gonna try later in the year when shit gets a little better. Maybe I'll make a pit stop over where you're at for a minute.
Dude, that would be all. And I'm literally right off the highway.
Yeah, because when I drive, I see it. Like I see Fredericksburg and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, and where I live is right off the exit, I should say.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, so I'm right around the corner. We can go to Hooters and grab a drink and look at the little titty girls.
Fuck yeah, bro. Yeah.
BM, this has been fun, man. I'm sure you got stuff to do. You ready to go spend your Saturday with your girl in Long Island?
A little bit. Yeah, that's probably not gonna be till like 1 o'clock or whatever, man. I don't know. But fuck, man. Yeah, just try not to get canceled, bro.
I'm trying, hey, but at the same time, it's like Tim Dillon said, my audience isn't bought, No,
I mean, dude, do whatever you want. I don't think you should even worry about it.
Yeah,
you should do whatever the fuck you want. But I come the nut jobs that I pay attention to, like in New York City, like the Gas Digital crew and all those people, they're always with drama, like the Skanks and all those dudes.
Right. Same thing though. You can't cancel those guys. They are who they are for a reason.
You cannot cancel them.
They have a following. They put on their own shows.
That's right. And that's like the fucking good luck. It's the same group of New York comedians that keep trying to cancel them. These dudes are such fucking losers. They're so sad.
I imagine so.
And they don't have the wherewithal to start their own fucking podcast or start their own network and
right, to brand themselves and then try to independently put on their own shows like Skanks.
Right. So it's like, let me tear down a successful structure to try to replace it with my shit. But you forgot that structure wasn't created by fucking CBS, motherfucker, or ABC.
Right.
You can't fuck with the sponsors. Like, you're so behind on the times, you know. This is the okay boomer moment, you know, which is a state of mind, basically. It's not even an age thing. It's a state of mind.
And for all the comedians that are against them and try to get them canceled, there's 2 more comedians that love them because they throw a festival every year and they feed other comedians. They feed younger guys.
That's right.
You think Freddie is going to go speak out against Legion of Skanks? They've given him stage time twice at Skank Fest. What?
Yeah, for sure. I've seen him there. And it's like, when you go there, it's like the most diverse group of freaks. It's like fucking, it's just so crazy. Black people, white people, Spanish people, Indian, gay, trans, strippers. It's just a freak show. And it's like you motherfuckers are scared of this. Like, this is like the most welcoming place that you would be welcomed. Like, you would be so welcomed here, you know, in the fucking cornball open mic that you're hiding in fucking Williamsburg or Bushwick, Brooklyn. Those motherfuckers will cancel you in 5 minutes, buddy. Yeah, they're operating on fucking North Korea time, bro. They're like on call out. They're on call out culture 24/7, bro.
Yeah.
And if you don't abide by the tenets, and if you don't go outside and cry for fucking Kim Jong-il, you're going to be in a labor camp. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta fucking abide by the fucking religion, because you'll be banned in 5 minutes, bro.
Yeah.
That's the world they live in, which is scary. Imagine being that paranoid.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing comedy in Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Bro, imagine being that fucking paranoid that you have to like fight crusades all the time in order to prove your worthiness.
Yeah,
like you have to fucking cancel, and you have to call out everything. You have to just call it out under one umbrella. And if you don't, it's like, do you even belong sipping a latte next to me, bitch? Because last I checked, you submitted for fucking Legion of Skanks for Skankfest. You know, like, how dare you?
Right. Should you even be sipping a latte next to me?
It's crazy. It's so funny. I just, you know, I try not to relish in other people's failure, you know, because that's also negative, but sometimes I can't help it. Like, I'm just
that's the same thing that those cancel culture people are doing. They're trying to cause someone's failure so they can relish in it.
Right.
And then so they can benefit.
When I see them fail, I'm like, man, this is great, because you dudes just try to like destroy the lives of people that, you know, I enjoy, you know, or actually pay money to subscribe to like Gas Digital and stuff. So it's like, you people are so sad, you know?
Right. It is kind of pathetic, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a fucking, I don't know, bro.
So what are you going to do, BM? Are you going to write about it? You're going to do a podcast about it?
I don't know. Is that lame, though? Like, everyone talks about this shit.
I don't know. You got to ask the question you got to ask yourself, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I mean, is what I'm doing lame?
No, it's not lame at all. It's not lame at all. That's the thing. It's like you always, like, look at other people, and it's like, you know, you don't even care. You're like, no, that's not lame. But, like, when it's you do it, you just judge yourself hard, I guess.
Right. And at the beginning, it'll probably be weird. I mean, the first time I did stand-up comedy, the first couple times you hear your voice come back to that speaker, you're like, ooh, what the fuck? Is that what I sound like?
Yeah.
But now when it happens, it's like, this is the way my voice is supposed to be heard, is through a speaker and a microphone.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to do impression videos of you on the fucking, you know, the talking.
Oh, that's right. I fucking forgot about those. Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I used to fuck around with all those shits.
Yeah. Do more stuff like that. And like you said, man, you said you want to work on like skits and like scripts and shit. Dog, let me know. Let me know if you want to work on some stuff. We can always video chat and have like a writing session. And then what we can do is come up with like, you know, once we have 5 or 6 really good rounded skits, then I could be like, all right, I'm taking the great, or I'm driving the van up for the weekend. Let's film all these.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm down for that.
There's no reason not to, man.
Yeah, man.
BM, it was great talking to you, bud. Thanks for doing this.
Great talking to you, buddy.
I'm going to have...
I like fucking, you know, I like what you're becoming. I think you changed a lot. I think it's something that was mentioned, you know, in the over the past, you know, 6 months or 5 months. So even, you know, I'm not outing anybody in the admin group. You know, we have spoke about you, like, look, you know, Scott's really fucking turning shit around. He's like becoming a good person. He's becoming a better dude. It's definitely something that people have said to me, just so you know. Like, people definitely see you like doing a complete fucking 180 and just being a better dude and trying to kill it at life. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think anybody could hate on you. And I think you're doing awesome, bro.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. When this journey started, and when I first came into the church in like 2018, the end of 2017. And then I started comedy a couple months later. Yeah. And honestly, I had just reactivated my Facebook after not having it for years. I had just broken up with my girlfriend, just started doing comedy, and my ego got in a really bad way. And I let it blow out of proportion. And at times it still shows itself in ugly ways. But I've disciplined that a lot, and growth is such an everyday thing. And I've learned from my mistakes and just the times that I've let my ego boast, or, like ask people for handouts and shit like that. So, and it feels better to struggle and suffer for it. You know what I mean? Right. As opposed to like, hey, can you cash at me some money to get home? Right. I feel like I've grown too, BM, and Allison pointed that out to me, especially after the podcast with Freddie. But there's still much growth to be done. I'm not perfect by any means. I don't strive to be. Perfection is a unexciting form. But man, I'm just trying to be a better person every day that I can, for myself, for my dog, and then for my fellow human. Like, I just have to be a better man, and grow the fuck up.
Definitely shows, man. And I think people notice, and people love a redemption story.
Yeah.
You know? So it's cool, bro. I think you're doing awesome. Keep it up, man.
I appreciate you, BM.
Appreciate you too, man.
Dude, you have a beautiful day. Enjoy your Saturday.
You too, dude.
Message me if you want to work on anything, if you have any
Definitely, man.
ideas.
Sounds awesome, yeah.
And then I'm going to load this on YouTube in a little bit. It's actually going to be 2 videos. Everybody keep an eye out for Scott Cunningham. I'm going to try to have him on next weekend.
Good luck.
Thanks. I know he's got a family.
Good luck.
And all the...
Let's go, Scott, you fuck. I want to see him on camera.
I think now that I've got you, and then I've already done one with Freddie. Now I'm doing you, and I messaged Scott yesterday when I booked you. I messaged Scott and was like, hey, let's do this next weekend. So what I would like to try to do is just keep following that trend. Let's have Allison on. Let's have John on if they want to do it.
Right.
I think that'd be fun. Why not?
I think Scott could find time. I think he's just unsure. You got it, Scott. You can do it.
Dude, I would love to see Scott do this, man.
Yeah.
Well, like, people have literally tried to start the GoFundMe to get him out to go be on the church.
I know. And dudes were hating on that. Can you imagine?
Fuck them. So, yeah, I would love to hear. I mean, I've hung out with Scott. I've spent time with him before.
That's right.
But I would love to get him in on this, like, free-form conversation just so people can see what type of guy he is, because Scott's cool as fuck.
He's awesome. Yeah.
All of y'all are, man. Thank you again, bud. I'm going to actually be done this time.
All right, brother. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Peace.
Later.